again, it's a combination of understanding what my genetics are, where I'm at in life, what I have been through health-wise in the last 5 years, and what I want the next 5 years of my life to look like. So I am really diligent on making sure I am not only taking things to support my system right now, but the next 5 years. Like I'm mid 40s, when I'm approaching 50, I want to make sure that I'm still strong and healthy and everything else, because the time is going to pass. That day is going to come where I'm like, okay, entering a new decade of my life. And how healthy am I? I want to be able to get healthier and healthier as I just get older. I'm not going to call it aging. Aging implies that your body breaks down. Hey there, welcome to the Female Health Solution podcast, where we discuss women's health, hormones, and everything else in between. Join me as we dive into the tools that you need to live your healthiest life. Hey there, Dr. Beth Westy here, and I get a lot of questions on what do I do on this or that? What do I take regularly for supplements and all of that? So we're going to talk about it today. I'm going to actually show you what I take on a regular basis, and why these things are important and why they're included in my daily routine overall. Now, this might seem like a lot of supplements. There are, 7 bottles here. And then there are, I'm going to go through all the tinctures as well. Such a nerd with this. But I don't take all of them every day, right? So let's start with the tinctures and how I use them and what they're for and everything. So I'm going to start with the EstroBalance and Progesterone. These 2 tincture bottles in the group of 4 are not, I don't take them together, right? I cycle them with my cycle. So days 1 through 14, days 15 through 28, that is how I take them for myself. I do have a regular 28-day cycle. I have had it disrupted in the last, since I've been tracking on an app for honestly the last 7 years. I have like 7 years of data on this for myself. I had it disrupted once after a very stressful event. So I knew that it was going to be off. Other than that, even if I get sick, even if something else happens, plus or minus a day. So my cycle is 28 days. Sometimes it's 27, sometimes it's 29. But out of 12 or 13 periods that I'll have in the year, it will be 28 days, 70% of the time, 75% of the time. I do attribute tinctures to that, especially with a lot of the stuff that I've had going on recently, just to keep things regular. So again, I don't take these at the same time. I will take this or this cyclically overall. The one I do take on a regular basis, though, is the Adrenal balance. The only thing I vary with this is how much of it. Now, oftentimes I will actually increase my dose during the luteal phase, right? When if it days 15 through 28, when I'm taking the Progesterone balance, sometimes I need a little more because of the stress. So there's that. And then the sleep tincture one, I do not use this on a regular basis. I go through bouts of insomnia. I have had insomnia. I remember being as young as 10. And I do now call it insomnia because I would wake up in the middle of the night and be awake for hours and be unable to go back to sleep. And I would do this in patterns and have 3 nights in a row, then sleep for a night, then another 3 nights in a row. And then I'll get out of this phase and I won't have sleep issues for months. I'll be able to fall asleep, stay asleep solid, wake up in the morning, feel rested, and my sleep will be beautiful and perfect and wonderful and everything. And then I'll go through another bout of insomnia. This has been the one sleep agent that has helped me the most with sleep, with getting regular sleep. When I get into a bout where I cannot sleep, if I get too stressed or something and I need help with sleep, this is the one constant. So again, I do not use this regularly. I don't use it on a daily basis. I don't use it even on a weekly basis. I can go 3 months, 2-3 months without touching it. And then I'll use it every day for a week. Sometimes I do use the sleep support tincture in conjunction with week 4 of my cycle. So day, 22 through 28, day 23 through 28, just to make sure I'm getting enough restful sleep overall. So there is that. But otherwise, so out of these 4 tinctures that I held up, EstroBalance, Progesterone, sleep, and Adrenal, I only take 2 of them regularly at a time. And again, it's the Adrenal and the Estro, or Adrenal and the Progesterone. And then again, intermittently, the sleep when I need it. So to have these on hand is a godsend. To have them available when you need them is wonderful. To have a backup is so dang helpful, because that's where people run into trouble, is that all of a sudden you realize there's a problem and I don't have something on hand for it. There's an issue and I'm trying to play catch up already. So if I notice, I mean, and I can, like you can exist like most moms, right? You can exist, get through your day off of getting like 3 hours of disrupted sleep. That's fine. But when you're on day 5 of that, forget it. Forget it. The world is a very different place when you're not sleeping. Right? So there's that. So those are the tinctures that I take and why I take them. The rest of these that I take, I also use some of them intermittently, and I want to make sure, again, I'm showing the right things and talking about it appropriately overall. A lot of this is dependent on my genetic test and what I use to keep my immune system going overall. So again, some of this is really customized, what I have customized off of my last Dutch test and off of my genetic test. So my genetic test shows I'm not a good methylator. I am prone to a lot of inflammation. I have a histamine response. There's all these other things which I can tell when that happens for me. I react to certain medications, or if I have a glass of wine, or if I get a bug bite or something, right? It's very aggressive on my system. So there's certain things that I take on a regular basis that I talk about to mitigate those reactions. Now, will I have to take some of these things forever? No, but because some of the results from my last Dutch test that I took and my stress levels have not been great, okay? I've been trying, right? Like so many people, I've been trying, but sometimes life just comes out of nowhere and smacks you in the face, and that's what you've got. So let's start with, I'm going to start with the smaller bottles. We're going to go smaller to big. First one is a vitamin D. I don't know if you guys can see this. Can you guys see this? A vitamin D, this is a lot, right? I should also preface this too. This is off of the last labs that I got as well. My last Dutch test, my last blood labs. A Dutch test does not test for vitamin D. My genetic test showed that I have a tendency to be low in vitamin D. I was supplementing with a and D capsule because vitamin A is also really important for absorbing vitamin D. So I was taking this over the winter, and I had my blood levels checked 3 weeks ago. As I'm recording this, 3 weeks ago, to see, did that work for me? Is that enough? Because there is half a serving in here. And I was like, okay, with all the other supplements that I'm doing, with all the other things, there's not a D in that one. I thought there was some vitamin D in one of the other, something else that I was taking. Yes, there's D in this one. So between this immune support and this one, I was like, this should be a serving, like for a regular person. So I calculated this, and I was like, then this was sort of my test for myself. Did that work? Did I get enough of what I need? No! I was really low in vitamin D. I was like, dang it. And I was like, of course I'm low in vitamin D. I genetically don't absorb it well. So I love Nutridyne. Nutridyne is a company I recommend quite a lot for a lot of my supplements. Again, this is what I am taking for me because I am so deficient. I am going through and taking the 10,000 units, and then I will switch over to the 5,000 units. Do I think people need to take this all the time, every day, forever? No. Like, please be careful with what you're taking and how you're taking something like this, because it can do more harm than good. But am I still taking my vitamin A with this? Because there's a crap ton of vitamin A in this. Yes, I'm still taking my vitamin A, but I'm also pairing it with this vitamin D to help the upload. Ching, bing, da-dun, cheers. I don't know. Whatever. to help with that. So this is for me right now. I will continue to take this more long-term for myself because clearly the regular units that I'm getting is not really enough for what my system needs right now. Yay. Again, knowing my genetics helps so much that I'm, have a genetic issue that I'm more prone to be low in vitamin D. And as I'm in my 40s now, mid 40s, I want to make sure I'm getting enough vitamin D to help with muscle and bone health. I have a family history of osteoporosis. So I want to make sure that I'm doing everything possible to work with that. So getting my blood tested for this. So I'll be doing another blood test in another 6 months. You can do another blood test in like 2 to 3 months just to check, but I'm going to do 6 months just to really make sure it's getting uploaded. Because if I'm going to test again, I want to see a better number. So there's that. Another bottle here I have is Detox Support. I do not take this on an everyday basis all the time, but because my body's not a good methylator and I have issues with detoxification and inflammation, I do support with that. There's this one, and then I will go through a bottle of this and I'll switch off like maybe once every several months, take it for a month and then take a break. Take it for a month, take a break for 3 or 4 months, right? And sometimes I will take charcoal if my stomach gets upset. That one's up in my bathroom. I did not bring that one. This immune support bottle here. This is also one I take. It's a tablet, which I just had my son start taking. I'm going to show you. It's just a tablet, right? It's different than a capsule. And when I told him to start taking these, he was like, oh, is there one that tastes better, Mom? I was like, tastes better? He's like, yeah. When I chew it, it's pretty gross. I was like, buddy, don't chew it. You're supposed to swallow it. So funny. Anyway, this for immune support. So I, again, chose some of these things because of my own health history. I have several autoimmune issues, and some of them pop up as in gut and then skin issues, things like that. So I really work on my immune system now. And if I get too stressed, it taxes my immune system. So this is one of the things, if I'm really, really consistent with supporting my immune system, then I really have very few flare-ups with my autoimmune, and I recover a lot faster from those. But I had days where I would wake up and like from the second I would open my eyes, I would feel like I got hit by a truck. I would have muscle pain, joint aches, my body would feel heavy, my brain would be mush, and I would have to rest. Like if I tried to do things, I could maybe do some laundry, dishes, housework, something, and then I would just have to rest. It's awful having a flare for me. My body hurts so bad that sometimes the only relief I can get is to sit in the sauna and then have my body pump out whatever is locked in. And then I can shower and be okay for a couple of hours and then crash again. And I will either have to sauna again or shower, or bath, take an Epsom salt bath, which is also very dehydrating. So it's very tough to be in a flare up for me. It's not pretty. I am not a person. I can't do the peopling of anything. So I hate being in that mode. I hate being in a position where I cannot function how I want to or need to for myself, for my family, for my work. I love what I do. And if I get held back by how I physically feel, I get so frustrated. So this immune support, it has vitamin C, vitamin D, some vitamin D, zinc, selenium, but then there's a mushroom blend. So mushrooms that are really helpful for your immune system. That's why I like this one. The other immune one, and you're like, you're taking another one? Yes, I am. Immune resilience. Why are you taking 2 immune things? Because they're different. This one has quercetin in it, which is really helpful for your histamine response, mast cell activation things. There's ginseng, turmeric. I always say turmeric, and I know that's not how you say it. Okay. Elderberry, EGCG, resveratrol, luteolin as well. Also helpful for histamine. If I stop taking this, I notice I have definitely more of a histamine response. I have more allergy reactions, all that other stuff. my histamine reactions got really bad once I went through mold stuff. So that's where it got really terrible for me. Do I take this all day, every day type of thing, like every single day of the year? Not necessarily, but I make sure I have it in my system whenever seasons change, especially in the spring where things are blooming and growing and all that other stuff. Pollen this past year has been a killer for me. So making sure I have some of this in my system is really, really helpful. I feel better. I feel better when I have this in my system. I just do. The other one that I take, Cellular Energy, this one recently has made a huge impact. The bottle's almost empty. Don't worry, I've got more in my back stock. This one has some magnesium, manganese, N-acetylcysteine, CoQ10, alpha lipoic acid, and some grapeseed extract. The CoQ10 in here is 200 milligrams, which is a good dose of it. And again, for my cellular repair, methylation, inflammatory responses, things like that, this is what I am taking for that. Could I take just a CoQ10? Yes, but I like all the other little things in there because they actually combine really beautifully with my genetic report and how my system has had a less than stellar recovery from things from what I saw in my Dutch test. Yeah. My last blood labs showed, great, liver numbers, great, red blood cells, white blood cells, like great stuff. Just like vitamin D was not good, right? So, and then my genetic report, I know I need to work on that inflammatory response. And my most recent Dutch test also showed that. So this is one that I have recently added in the last couple of months. Otherwise, so this is a new ad, and I'll be totally honest, I feel a huge difference in my muscle recovery. I feel a huge difference with adding this in. So it is 100% worth it. And again, it's totally different. It is a blend, and it is totally different than the other things that I'm taking. The last one that I'm taking is also something I'm taking based on my last Dutch test where my dopamine was on the floor. Terrible. So this is the NeuroBalance supplement. NeuroBalance, again, it has some vitamin C, B6, folate, calcium, some magnesium. Again, when I say magnesium, it's like 15% in there. There's tyrosine, some glutamine, rhodiola, and then there's the L5-HTP. Now, when I started taking this, because I didn't start taking this until last fall, when my last Dutch test, where I was like, oh, whoops, maybe that's why I feel a little flat. A lot of stuff looked okay, but I was like, whoa, the worst, like the thing that was most outside of range on my whole Dutch test was my dopamine. Oopsie poopsie. Started taking this. I had to go through 2 full bottles before I noticed a lift. Huge difference. So, still working back from that. Will I need to take this forever? No, right? No, but still working back from that. So I might take this one out at some point, right? And this one is not a permanent one either. So permanent things for me, I really work on my immune system, my cellular response, again, my vitamin D levels, and again, immune. I focus a lot on immune system. Yes, I do. Yes, I really do. Why is that so important for me? Again, it's a combination of understanding what my genetics are, where I'm at in life, what I have been through health-wise in the last 5 years, and what I want the next 5 years of my life to look like. So I am really diligent on making sure I am not only taking things to support my system right now, but the next 5 years. Like I'm mid 40s, when I'm approaching 50, I want to make sure that I'm still strong and healthy and everything else, because the time is going to pass. That day is going to come where I'm like, okay, entering a new decade of my life. And how healthy am I? I want to be able to get healthier and healthier as I just get older. I'm not going to call it aging. Aging implies that your body breaks down. But I can honestly say that right now, with the things that I've been focused on and doing, especially in the last several months, and adding in some of these specific things, I feel better now than I did 2-3 years ago. I feel way better now. I mean, some of the lowest parts of my health in the last 5 years were really around mold and then getting a brown recluse spider bite. Those were very close together things. That was awful. And it's taken me a long time to come back from that and feel like, yeah, I'm not really working on mold stuff anymore. I'm really rebuilding my body to be a healthy, strong, vibrant body, to have the energy levels to do what I want to do, and make sure that in 5 years, I have great blood labs, a great Dutch test, and any other labs that I do, they're like, oh, this is fantastic. Not just within normal, but these levels are beautiful. Beautiful. I also take 0 prescription medications in case somebody's wondering. I also have a history of thyroiditis, thyroid issues when after I had babies. So in postpartum thyroiditis is what it's called. So I'm not on a thyroid medication. But I do have a concern that going through menopause, which, is inevitable at some point, that because of that hormonal change, it potentially could flare some of my thyroid numbers. Oh, the other thing on my blood test that was elevated, of course, was my thyroid antibodies. So for Hashimoto's, which, they're better than they were the last time I tested them. I mean, when I first had them tested, when I was going through mold, they were almost dang near 500. And then they bumped down to like two something, mid 200s. Right? We're not quite in the 2-digit range yet, but we're getting there. It's getting better. Okay. It's getting better. So, but that's what I really want to make sure I am supporting my body for coming up to perimenopause, and making sure that none of the other issues I had previously creep up. I don't want to have a thyroid issue. I don't want to have a Hashimoto's storm. I don't want to have any autoimmune flare-ups. So when I say multiple autoimmunes, Hashimoto's is part of that. I have another skin issue called annuloma granulare, and that's been clearing up now as well. Like I have like little circular granules on different areas of my body. Some of them are on my upper arm or my leg. Sometimes they get near my ankles or feet, which I am not going to show you on camera. I don't do foot pictures. But those are the things that are just really helpful to identify, like understanding, looking at my body as a whole, right? Here's what genetically I have going on. Here's what my most recent Dutch test said. Here's what my most recent blood lab said. Here's what I've been through in the last 5 years and what my goals are for the next 5 years. These are the things that are getting me on the right track, and that I'm, really unless something major happens for me, which I'm not planning on it, man, I'm going to be able to say, okay, I've maintained really good health. I've come back from some really tough health stuff. I'm entering the perimenopause phase, and succeeding through that, existing in that space really, really well, and still thriving and having beautiful labs on the other side of it. So that's my goal. So that's what I'm working towards. And those are the things that I'm taking. So it might seem like a lot to some people. I'm just taking a multivitamin, or I'm just taking great, right? I've been tailoring and tweaking things based on my labs, and my genetic report. And this is what I'm doing. So I'm really happy with my results so far. And these are the things that we offer for people when we work with them, right? We're going to make sure that you're not just taking stuff for no reason. What are you taking? What is it for? Is it helping you now? Is it going to help you in the future? Is this something that's a short-term thing, or is this something that's going to be more of a long-term thing? There are some things that I take, again, like a detox support, that I take intermittently. There are some things, again, like the sleep support, right? I don't take that every day, but to have things on hand, or to understand how I'm supporting my system through different seasons, in and out throughout the year, through different stressful times, to make sure that no matter what, I'm going to be functioning my best. So, all right, that's what I got for you today. Let me know if you guys have questions, right? Let me know if you have questions on stuff, or if you're curious about anything else I have taken, or what I did for mold, or I've talked about that previously, but if you want me to do a recap, I can. Always leave me a comment if you want more info, or if you're not comfortable commenting, don't hesitate to reach out and send me an email. I get emails from women all over the world every single day asking a lot of different questions. So I guarantee it's not a weird question. I've heard it before. And then if you want more info on these tinctures, again, which I started with talking about, because they really are the baseline for everything for me to keep my hormonal system functioning well, you can always find info below this video. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you later. Thank you for joining me on today's episode. If you would like more information, just head on over to drbethwesty.com for all the show notes and information from today's episode. And if you're looking for more community, more support, you can find and follow me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and I would love to see you there.